Hey everyone and welcome. In this video, as promised, is a bit of good news, and that is that the Tories are finally doing something about the illegal invasion of economic migrants flooding in from France. Before we get into the article, I'd like to promote everyone to sign the petition I've got here. Take action to stop illegal immigration and rapidly remove illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are entering the UK in many different ways, including small boats from France, which are not stopped by either French or British forces. The government should take action to reduce illegal immigration into the UK and enable the rapid removal of immigrants found to be here illegally. This is a must, so please everyone show your support by smashing this petition everywhere. The link you'll find in the description, everyone. Make sure everyone gets to see it and sign it. Thank you very much. It is a very good petition in my opinion. We're up to just over 90,000, so it's getting there.
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Right, let's find out what the article is saying, shall we? It's titled, More Asylum Seekers Set to be Deported on Charter Flights Despite Concerns Over Safety and Legality. Campaigners say decisions to pursue removal amounts to an affront to public health and calls on Home Secretary to urgently review plans to deport people under the Dublin regulation. So, Priti is starting the deportation by plane for asylum seekers. Granted, it's just the ones that have applied for asylum somewhere else, and it's a bit of a token because of the numbers, but it is definitely a move in the right direction, isn't it? If they don't U-turn, again, like they are doing a lot, I'm starting to actually call the Tories kids' toy yo-yo Tories because they're so up and down, aren't they? I'm also a bit unhappy that it's just asylum seekers that apply somewhere else that's being removed, but without changing legislation to reduce the claims illegals are allowed to make before removal, it's the best we can hope for now. What it does show though is the pressure we are bringing to bear on the Tories is starting to work. Am I wrong? Let me know. Let's continue. The Home Office is pressing ahead with the deportation of asylum seekers who have recently arrived to the UK in small boats, despite mounting concern about the safety and legitimacy of carrying out removals at a time when coronavirus rates across Europe are rising. Two charter flights are set to remove asylum seekers to 3 EU countries next week under the Dublin regulation, a law that requires asylum seekers to claim asylum in the first safe country they arrive in. Among the receiving countries are France, which is set to introduce quarantine measures for people arriving from the UK within days, and Germany, which recorded its biggest daily increase in coronavirus cases last week. A number of individuals who had arrived in the UK on small boats in recent months were taken from their asylum accommodation and detained in Brookhouse Removal Centre last Friday. Good. They have since been informed that they will be deported either on a charter flight to both France and Germany on the 25th of August or to Spain the following day. Campaigners, here we go, this is where the left go all mental, innit? Campaigners said the decision to pursue the removals amounted to an affront to public health and called on the Home Secretary to urgently review her plans to deport people under the Dublin regulation. A separate Dublin removal flight destined for France and Germany took off last week with 14 asylum seekers on board. 19 people who were due to be on the flight did not board after last-minute legal intervention found that their removal could constitute a breach of their human rights. What about a breach of the rights of a nation to not have people here that are not allowed? What about those rights? Do they not count then? Among those who had their deportation stayed were torture victims, people with severe PTSD. PTSD? Look, I agree France is a hellhole, but I wouldn't say it would give anyone PTSD. Actually, scratch that, maybe it would. And people who were at risk of homelessness and destitution on return to an EU country to which they were set to be removed. What exactly does that mean? Are you trying to say that there's homelessness and destitution in every EU country that we could possibly send them back to? Because that is absolutely ridiculous, is it not? On top of that, why is that our problem anyway? I mean, if France is bad, that's France's issue, is it not? We're not bad. What's stopping France deporting them back to, say, I don't know, point of origin, etc., etc.? There isn't, is there? Ammar, at 24, a Yemeni national who was detained in Brookhouse on Friday after arriving by boat in March, is facing removal on the flight to Spain on the grounds that he claimed asylum there last year. Well, there you go then. His asylum claim is for somewhere else. He told The Independent he was forced to try and get to the UK because he was poorly treated within the Spanish asylum system. Poorly treated. Okay, let's find out exactly what they did, shall we? I didn't plan to just pass through Spain. Okay, I wanted to find safety there, but the asylum system lacked organisation. What do you mean by that? No proof, obviously. I had many problems, he said. Let's find out what the problems are. I had nowhere to live. I told the charity I was living in the streets and I got somewhere to stay. So you had somewhere to live then. But people there stole from me. Okay. What, your house? No, they didn't. You didn't speak Spanish. Well, we get by when we go to Spain without speaking Spanish. Just a thought. I didn't get an interpreter. Oh, he wants a private interpreter to follow him round everywhere. That's what this guy wants. Then I ran away to Paris, but smugglers occupy that place. I decided to come to the UK because I went to Spain and didn't find safety, and I went to France and found myself in the street. I speak English. I can speak directly about my pain here, but in Spain and France, who will look after me and no one will translate for me? Hold on 1 second, will you, chappie? Who will look after you? I'll tell you who. You or no one. What I got from this whole part is I went to Spain, they didn't give me everything I wanted, just an house, for nothing. That wasn't enough though, so I went to France. They gave me nothing, so I thought I'd try and milk the UK instead. In my opinion, that's closer to reality. But what say you? Amar, who said he fled persecution from the Houthi rebels in Yemen, added, I will die here, I won't go. Really? If you're illegal, you're going whether you like it or not. I've started to have hope in this country. Why? Because we're going to give you the free stuff you didn't get in France and Spain. I've started to feel normal. I can't go back to Spain. The future for me there is bleak. At this point, Amar, I'd like to say, compared to what? Go on, dare you. If you speak English, you can get a job over there. Can you not? I'd like to say, is Spain, is that bleak? Is it really worse than the persecution you had? Spain's safety, is it not? You've got safety. You're not entitled to anything else. Sorry, you're just not. Europe is not free shit, it's hard work and reward. Bella Sankey, director of Charity Detention Action, said the government's giddy attempts to restart mass deportation flights as both France and the UK introduce quarantine measures is an affront to public health. And shipping in thousands of unchecked illegals who are also void of any identification isn't an affront to public health. I think your priorities are with foreigners rather than the British, my love, Bella. We are under quarantine, like you said, so stop any getting here, I agree. And remove any for public health, also, I agree. So easy to reverse these people's crap, isn't it? It also trashes the UK's record for refugee protection. No, it does not. We still take legitimate refugees legally. They don't have to break in, and you using the word is not confusing anyone. France is not war-torn, and therefore not one is a refugee, no matter how many times you say it, Bella. History will not judge kindly the department which, in the midst of a deadly pandemic, raids asylum accommodation to forcibly remove terrified asylum seekers from Yemen, Iraq, Syria, and other war-ravaged countries. Where is the leadership and moral courage? I think it's there, Bella. And you hate it because it doesn't fit your worldview, does it? Maybe the Tories are finally saying, shut the fuck up, lefties. We're doing what we were mandated to do by the people, not by you. I think it's closer to that. But what say you? Tawfiq Hussain, Director of Public Law at Duncan Lewis Solicitors, called on the government to urgently review its removal plans under the Dublin regulations, adding, many of those who Priti Patel is so desperate to return have legitimate reasons to stay in the UK. If that were the case, they would have applied somewhere else first to come here. They wouldn't have broken our laws trying to break in when we have legitimate refugee channels to help actual refugees. More than 4,000 migrants have crossed the English Channel with small boats so far this year, including more than 1,200 in August alone, compared to 2,758 in the whole of 2019. Humanitarian organisations have pointed out, however, that rather than demoting a surge in arrivals, the rise marks a shift in method, as many of those arriving on small boats would have previously arrived as stowaways in lorries. Makes no difference to me. No matter how you break into my country, you should not be allowed to stay. If you've broken a law, just get in here. How are you the right sort of person for the country? You're not, are you? Immigration lawyers and charities have urged that in order to reduce the number of people making risky sea journeys, the government must create safe and legal routes to the UK for asylum seekers. We have. What they should do, though, is make it completely unattractive for all but legal entry. No ifs, no buts. If you're prepared to break our laws on your first day just to get here, you are undesirable to the union, in my honest opinion. A Home Office spokesperson said, "People should claim asylum in the first country they enter, and we make no apology for seeking to remove migrants who have travelled through a safe country and have no right to remain in the UK." Well said, Home Office. I agree fully on that one. This is part of our strategy to stop people attempting this dangerous journey. It's very true, that works. Stop the demand and the smugglers won't have anyone to actually bring over, will they? It'll stop it all in one hit. Make the route unviable and send a signal to anyone considering it or being exploited by the criminal gangs who facilitate them, that we will do everything in our power to return them. It shouldn't be that we will do everything in our power to return them. That's not commanding at all, is it? It should be, we will return them. Am I wrong? Last week, 15 people who arrived on small boats were removed from the UK who had no right to be here. Close to the number we had agreed with the receiving countries. We are working to increase the number of returnees countries are willing to accept on each flight. And what's my opinion on this? Well, it seems to be a step in the right direction, doesn't it? Maybe a little bit of hope for us. I'm not completely against refugees if they apply legally. But, and there is a but, I don't think just because we've helped you as a refugee that it entitles you to stay in the country once your country of origin is no longer at war. I don't mind helping now, but why does that entitle you to live here forever? If your country is no longer at war, you're no longer a refugee, in my opinion. Now, that is not for heartless reasons either. If we take the world, how will the world fix the countries that had trouble? They'll be destroyed if everyone leaves, will they not? In regards to Priti and the Home Office response, it's hopeful, isn't it? I'm more interested though in the ones out there working illegally, etc. We should not be allowing what we found in Leicester, i.e. the sweatshop slavery. They still don't seem to want to issue the tough statements though, do they either? The Tories. Makes me wish Thatcher was still around. I'll tell you, she'd have fixed this by now, would she not? Tories need to listen to the voters, old voters and the new Red Wall voters, and get this fixed. End of story, in my opinion. But I'd like to know your opinion on this as well. Do you think this is a step in the right direction? Do you think we should do more? Do you think we should do less? Do you think the way that we have our laws at the minute makes it far too easy to be exploited? Because I think it does. I think we really do need to have a full, complete, top to bottom look at every single law that we've got. I know that would take a while with all of the crap that the EU put in, but soon we will be able to rip them all apart and start again, will we not? And we will make them better. We always do. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share it out, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Also, sign the petition, everyone, as well. The link's in the description.